Welcome back to Charity Farms. My name is Teresa, but you can call me T. Today we are going to talk about harvesting rosemary and what I use to make it where it's more edible for me to eat. So here's the video. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so we're going to start this video, and the rosemary you're looking at is the rosemary straight to the left, actually to the east of us in the front door. That's this one. You can see that it is just filled with so many leaves. I wasn't able to harvest it last year because we had such a very hot summer that it would have been more detrimental to harvest the rosemary during that time. So I have 2 years that I have to catch up on. If you notice, the limbs are bowing down or raising up, and I always look at it like plants know who created them. So either they're raising their hands up towards God or they're bowing down before Jesus. And what I'm doing now is I'm pretty much getting through the thick of it. I need this plant to be able to breathe. And I have to choose, how do I want this plant to go? Well, I prefer that the plant actually goes where the limbs are praising God, our Father in heaven. I love to bow down to Jesus, but bowing down also means that I could have critters underneath my plant, and I'd prefer not to be surprised. Also, when you have plants that touch the ground, they're more susceptible to diseases or other problems. So it's just better that I keep the limbs off the ground. So I prefer the limbs off the ground and praising God. This is the other side of the rosemary. This is the one that's actually on our west side, and I am harvesting that one as well. This one's gonna look more bare when I'm done with her. That's just because of the way the camera was positioned. I wasn't able to get the very top of her, and I do apologize for that. And again, all I'm doing is I'm going through and I'm finding ways where she needs to be cut. First, I want her off the ground, but then I also want to make sure that air flows through her, because that's what's going to keep her from not getting sick or get susceptible to any kind of diseases. Now, what I'm doing is I'm actually tying a piece of yarn over the branch that I cut. And I'm getting ready to hang dry my rosemary because I do want to use it as an herb, so it needs to dry. But I have a whole wheelbarrow filled with rosemary, so I can't really do it in my house, nor can I do it in my dehydrator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just do an air dry, and every single time I hang it up, I will go ahead and wash it off. So the next thing you're seeing me do is just do another eye, a loop of an eye. That's what you do when you crochet, and put another branch on where I need that, and then I'll just do another secure loop around that, and then I'll just continue on until I have enough where I know that it will hang on the pole above me, but not touch the ground. Oh, here comes Moses. Moose. Mama, play with us. As you can see, the rosemary that you see in the wheelbarrow is only half. I've already hung up half of that on the other side of the house. And that's how I'm doing it. I'm realizing I could actually add a little bit more, but that's what I'll do is I'm going to hang it up on the pole above me. And that's how much I had for that pole, and I have it on the other side. Now, I'm taking it off. It's been about 2 days. I've already washed them when I hung them up. I made sure that they were clean. But what I'm going through now, because it's been about 3 days, is I'm seeing if there are any feathers in there, because we have birds that fly around. So I want to make sure that any of that debris is gone. And all I'm going to do, because I have so much rosemary, is just get the needles off. And the bucket that you see in the chair, that is a 7-gallon bucket. And because it's already dried and it just comes off. It just broke off very easily. I'm just taking my finger and rubbing through the stem to get all those needles off. My hands smell like rosemary all day. I love the fact that that was such a wonderful smell. What I'm doing with the stems, you could use the stems if you want to, but I have so much rosemary with those 2 bushes, I don't need it. So I'm going to use the stems as another filler for a bed that I need to make. I just don't have the soil yet, so I'm just kind of putting that in the place until I'm ready to actually put that where I want it. All right, now we're off into it's time to get it ready for the house. Okay. I'm pointing the fact that this shows it's a 7-gallon bucket and this actually has markings. And the markings telling me I have 1.5 gallons of rosemary needles just filled up. That's how much rosemary I had. The rosemary is very prickly, so what we're gonna do to actually make this where it's edible and easy to digest and eat without having to feel the prickly in our mouth is we're going to grind it. I have a spice grinder, that's what this is, and I will attach the link below. But if you do not have a spice grinder, you can use a coffee grinder. That's how you get ground rosemary. Good. Yummy. I'm going to make it a little finer. Look at that. Yay. And then I'm just gonna pour it into this. Sometimes you gotta... I found that funnel at Hobby Lobby. That's where I actually got that funnel. But you can use any funnel that will actually fit in those jars. But you will have to shake it. For some reason, ground anything for seasonings, I have to shake it in there to get into the bottle. Now what I'm doing here is I'm just filling up a mason jar of rosemary. And most of these jars will be rosemary. There's going to be and these are pint jars. There's going to be another pint jar where I fill up with ground rosemary. But the reason why I decided only one jar is actually a couple of reasons. It takes a lot of work to grind that much rosemary. Two, I'm losing the flavors the more time, the longer it's ground. It's better if it stays whole before I ground it. And what I'm doing is I'm putting these in mason jars because I have an electric mason jar sealer that I'm going to use to seal these jars airtight. That will keep that freshness in until I'm ready to use it. Because like I said, I have 2 years of harvesting that I wasn't able to get to last time. So I want to make sure that I can keep this herb. Now granted, herbs last a long time anyways, it doesn't really matter. But you do want to make sure that when you fill it, you want to make sure it doesn't go above that line that I showed you. And then this is the electric vacuum sealer jar that I have. And you see it has a lock and an unlock, and that's actually how you get the wide and the white as the standard mouth. The wide mouth is at the bottom, the standard mouth is at the top. So what you do is you want to make sure that you treat this just like you would if you're canning. You want to go ahead and get your top lid. You want to clean the top of this. You want to wipe out the rubber seal and make sure there's nothing on it. But you also want to wipe down the rim of the jar, make sure there's no cracks, make sure it's good and secure, and there's no debris on that as well. And then you'll just place that on, and instead of a ring, you'll put the electric vacuum sealer on top of that. And then for this one, it's actually relatively easy. Once you press, you just push this button and you'll see it. And it just counts up until it's ready. And then once it's done, it stops counting and you pull it off. I did find it easier to actually unlock it and just make it where you take off the top and then you pull off the bottom one. But as you can see, it is sealed tight. It's vacuum sealed, that no air is getting in that puppy. And then of course I'm doing my ground ginger, or I'm doing my ground rosemary. And I'm tapping the bottle down so I can make sure that all my rosemary is where it needs to be and it's safe and secure. You can see I have debris on the rim when I was doing this. This is another reason why you want to wipe off the rim and also the lid. You don't know what kind of debris you have. And that is my ground rosemary. Now I'm just filling up the rest of my jars and continue vacuum sealing. Now you're seeing me. I'm just doing the wiggle dance. So I got a total of 2 gallons of dried rosemary because of the vacuum seal. I hope that didn't make you dizzy with all that going around on the garden. But thank you for joining. I hope to see you next week. Again, if you like this content, please like and subscribe to my channel. And until next week, God bless you. Bye.